you anxious?
I'm anxious.
Are you anxious?
I'm anxious.
Frankly, I'm worried sick.
Is it your mother?
I wanted sweet sensation.
Is it your father?
Don't buy me flowers.
Is it your brother?
Always on a Sunday, I'm left standing all alone.
Is it your sister?
Hopeless hope, wordless dreams, and a worn out wishes.
It's the hoochie coochie man, and he's coming to your town tonight.
The inspiration behind the name Anxious, was it reflective of your state of mind?
Oh, well, actually, it's more reflective of my state of mind 2 years since I launched it, because it's funny how you choose a name, and then it's like when you write a song sometimes, and then about 2 years later you realise what it's about, but I didn't realise how nerve-wracking and how such hard work it was, keeping the whole thing together, you know. And it is, but it's very... I mean, I get just as excited about when Pleasure, for instance, write a great song, or, you know, I go to see them live, even if they're only playing their first gig in front of 50 people. I get just as excited as I do about, you know, somebody telling me one of the Rhythmics has gone to #7 or this or that, you know.
I saw your face and now there's someone I kissed you. I had to look away, my God, how I missed you. While you were gone, my friend, I couldn't resist you. And now another page, listen from the story of the yellow field. The yellow field. The yellow field.
When I was travelling round on about the Eurythmics tour 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the one before the Revenge tour. I started to get more than just the odd cassette. I started to get, you know, carrier bags full of cassettes, or sacks full of cassettes at the end of each gig. And I would listen to them during the day on the plane or on the bus or whatever. And I started to just listen to demos, never bought any records for about 1.5 years.
Cheapskate.
Yeah. And then I ripped off all their ideas and made the Revenge album. No, actually,
I was wondering.
I started to really enjoy certain cassettes, and I started to think, I better do something about this. So I rang up the odd person who I thought the cassette was really good, and found out from most of them the same story, which is they'd been to major record labels in their country, whether it was France or Australia or Britain, and not really got past the receptionist because they didn't know anybody to get an introduction or whatever. And so I thought about it seriously and thought, well, I've made some money from this business, and why don't I put some back in and help bands who I think are really good and deserve to be in the marketplace amongst all the others.
Taking a chance on you. I'm taking a chance on you. I'm taking a chance on you.
Barry was masquerading as a costume designer stroke makeup artist, when all the time really he just wanted to, be in a band and be a star himself. And he sort of joined up with me before I actually formed the label, and had been on tour with Eurythmics, working in doing all our wardrobe and cutting Annie's hair. And he's he's got a flair for all sorts of visual things.
Because visually they're very strong.
Yeah, they are, yeah. But secretly, him and his friend, Gully, were off sort of on my equipment making all these demos and staying up all night, using my Porter studio and things. And he was actually too shy to play me anything at first. Then one day I made him sing in the cupboard in the church as the only place he would sing so that nobody else would hear. And he sang, I think it was Here Comes the Rain Again. And it was really good. And so...
You didn't do one of his songs then, he did one of yours to
No, because I made him sing one of our songs. So I like hearing other people sing our songs. But anyway, since then, they've went in leaps and bounds, and they wrote loads of songs first, and then made lots of demos, and we did some sort of adventurous 8mm kind of little film things first. We practiced a lot of things first before we just launch out into the public eye.
Tell me where are you going, my friend? And is today gonna be
other artists that you've released records by, you've also found in quite obscure places, or maybe very obvious places, like was the Big Ken and Anthony from Newcastle.
Well, Anthony was very strange, because I was up in Sunderland, you know, visiting relatives and things, and there's about 15 miles outside of Sunderland there's a place called Washington. It's really sort of dead little town, an obscure place, and there's not much happening. And I was looking for something to happen, and they said, well, there's a folk club around the corner. I thought, I haven't been to a folk club for years. And I went there, and I was really surprised that it was exactly the same as it was 20 years ago when I left it, and they were still singing the same songs. And I was getting a bit sort of morose about this, drinking up some... And then all of a sudden, Anthony came bursting on the stage, much to the horror of all these people at the folk club who were trying to say, now only one song and all this stuff. It was like a tornado, you know, and he sang 3 amazing songs. And I just immediately said straight afterwards, yeah, I'd love to sing anxious music.
You drink gin in this puppet show you're in. Hide behind a glass until you fall. Your rich hymns are the poor man's guillotine. You cut me off and left me here to bleed. Don't buy me flowers, April showers, wash them away. Don't give me prison cells, cathedral bells. When you're lost, you can't be found.
But I was going to say, do you think, like other small labels, that you run the risk at all of losing your artists to the majors as soon as you sort of put in the groundwork for them?
Very probably true, you know. But that isn't the reason why I'm doing it, to, you know, to make bags of loot from it. Basically, it's not the reason why I do anything. It's probably one of the reasons why a lot of things we do is successful in a long-term basis, because all I'm after is that thing that gives you goosebumps, you know.